this was your chance to really do something super bright and poppy on pale skin.
Well, Jesse, there's no doubt about your creativity, but then looking at the consistency of the outline, you have a lot of different line weights. You have some areas where you get a little gray, or you have some thickness where it looks like you had to pick up in some spots. Overall, you did a really cool image. This is going to boil down completely on both sides of the table to technicalities.
Anthony, this isn't really the most traditional eagle in the world.
I wanted that feel. I know there's so much more about traditional tests and there's so many rules involved. So I wanted to be a little looser, but keep some elements of traditional being the black, and I tried to simplify the design as much as I could.
But have you drawn a lot of these eagles?
No. Drawing an eagle like this from memory, very risky. Just going from nothing and coming up with an aesthetically pleasing look, I think it's a great take. I love this outline throughout. Big, nice, crisp. But there's some questionable ways you did the feathers and the wings.
I didn't want the wings to look so uniform.
I shouldn't be able to see the feather lines go all the way to the base. That black should be black enough to where those lines disappear into the blackness. And then it would have had a much stronger look.
Where, to me, things get short is the color. I don't love the brown stripes off the yellow in talons and in the wings. It doesn't speak to me as powerfully as everything else in the tattoo.
If you're creating a fantasy character, I have to look at the character and believe that it can function. Jesse's arm coming directly out from underneath the cheek didn't look like it functioned. And then the fin, I don't understand that that's on its back or if it's coming down a ridge or something.
I drew it all on, and as far as adapting from what I normally do, I drew with the tattoo machine while I was going. There was a lot of decisions I made that weren't on there when I started.
Alright, it's time to go to the judges here. Which artist is going home?
I feel like there's some technical problems with both these tattoos. We will all agree that both